Global Fund grants Ghana over $200 million to combat the ailments.
Zero malaria starts with me. Let us come together and drive malaria away. The clock is ticking. Let us accelerate action to end TB now. Stay safe. Let us end AIDS by 2030.
Plus, government says it is on course to vaccinate a large percentage of the population against COVID-19.
We are currently making all efforts to vaccinate Ghanaians so as to ensure that we leave no one behind in our vaccination campaign.
You can join me with your views and comments. 055 My name is Evans Mensah. And let's start from the constituencies of both the leaders of the minority in Parliament. The minority leader Haruna Idrisu and the Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak are tonight insisting they will not resign as they come under fire from some of their party members who accuse them of betraying the party's trust after Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta was approved earlier this week. The decision to approve the minister resulted in the North Tong MP Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa resigning his post from the Appointments Committee in Parliament. Also, we know that there have been public show of disapproval by some other members on the minority side. We'll hear from the two leaders reacting to calls for their resignation shortly. But first, listen to members of the party in their constituency reacting to the developments today. We'll begin from the Tamale South constituency, the home constituency of minority leader Haruna Idrisu. The reactions have been mixed, with some calling for the resignation of their MP as minority leader and others, of course, defending him.
Actually, my opinion on that issue is that Lawyer Haruna should also, simply because if you form a committee and maybe, let me just say this now, and you are about 10 people, and 5 people is falling because of you, and leaving you 5, I don't think the 5 can decide for the whole party. So I think he should also resign.
The reason why I say he should resign is what he's supposed to do is not doing it.
When you say it, they say, these people and the other people, this is what they are stand. And I could remember that Ablakwa, when this issue cropped up, he said, we have voted them, but we cannot decide for them what to do in the parliament. But knowing very well that those people you are saying, they are put you there.
So but he has resigned because of the issues that are coming up.
But the comments he made earlier sometimes undermine your integrity.
Frankly, I'm so disappointed on the MPs because we are in Ghana here. We saw what is going on at the Parliament House of the previous 4 years of Nanado government. Because it's God who saves us. Now we have the same country. Let's take it, Yenchimpe Parliament. You understand? So this time we have Ghanaians are thinking that maybe we are safe, but even I would think that if the first time it's better than now. Because since NDC, they are there for their own benefit, not Ghanaians. There's plenty of people they are not supposed to pass them. However, we saw what is happening at Kaswa. Use guns and this in short. After that, they pass in. And we heard that I'm not here, the parliamentarian, but everybody or every Ghanaian heard that they take money and pass them out.
So as you can hear there, the views are mixed. Some say, well, Haruna Idrisu, this is from his own constituency, by the way. Some say he should go. Others say he should not. What about the man himself?
In charge, I'm minority leader this morning. I've just engaged with the party leadership and council of elders. God has choices and God makes choices. Time will make choices. As for undermine, I have survived it. I will survive it.
Okay, so that's Haruna Idrisu. What about his other senior leader, colleague, Muntaka Mubarak, who is the minority chief whip? Well, in an interview that'll be aired tonight in full on PM Express, he reacts to these calls. Listen.
I will not.
Will you resign?
No, I mean, That's not on the table, and that cannot be on the table. I appreciate the challenges that people have. People are not happy. People are saying one thing or the other. I truly appreciate that. But I just want to ask a simple analogy. On the 6th and 7th, MPP had 137 plus 1. So in my view, as a whip, they had what it takes to produce a speaker. They couldn't produce a speaker. Yet, after that, they are working very hard to come together. We had 137. We didn't have what it takes to produce a speaker. We were able to produce a speaker. Go and review the video. Just check the effort that was put on that day, the energy that was bent on that day, all the things that needed to be done to secure that day. Why should we now be trying to disintegrate ourselves when we have gotten a medal that naturally we were not posed for? Those who could have taken it, who lost it, are working very hard to unite themselves. Those of us who got it are trying to create an impression that we should rather disintegrate. I always say, the God that created us, you and I, on Judgment Day we are told there will be a scale where your good deeds are put on one side and then your follies are put on to see which one weighs. I only want to ask, if, let's assume, without admitting, it was the whip who must be able to get us what we want. Okay, what price do you put on a speaker as against the price we put on a minister? I know, in a democracy that we have, by just getting the speaker, our country has registered on the radar in the whole world that we were able to move from an inferior number of 137 to beat those who had 138 to produce a speaker. And I cannot imagine how you weight that one as against maybe losing a minister. A minister in any way that even if you succeed in throwing out, no NDC will be appointed, but another MPP. Or probably the president could renominate.
So the implications of all this for the work in Parliament, of course, Parliament is on recess, but this has been going on the last few weeks, and I wonder what implications it will have for the unity among the minority side, and again the ability to do the work that they've been voted there to do, representing their constituents. I want to bring in Dr. Rashid Dramani of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, joins us on the telephone line right now. Dr. Dramani, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. I mean, what's your reaction to all that is unfolding on the minority front in Parliament?
Well, Evans, good evening. Let me start with the voice that you played last. I mean, that's the minority chief whip, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. I mean, drawing analogy with the election of the speaker. If we are looking at, the fact that NDC celebrated on the morning of January 7th, when some members of the MPP, perhaps maybe on the basis of principle, decided that they were going to break ranks with their party and join the NDC to elect a speaker. I think we should be looking at most of the happenings, particularly regarding the appointment, the approval of some of the ministerial nominees. We should look at that in the same light. I have a bit of difficulty, I think, with those who try to blame the leadership of the NDC in Parliament, particularly if they don't have any evidence, to the contrary in terms of any underhand dealings. If we are looking at the facts as we know them, maybe we watch the vetting that went on of all the ministerial nominees and so on the basis of that, some of the members decided that, look, based on what I heard, based on what evidence was tendered before the committee and so on, I decide I go with country and not with party. I don't think we can put the blame on the leaders of the NDC in Parliament. I think we should be looking more at the fact that people have voted their conscience as they did on January 7th and now, and that's how I want to look at it.
Yeah. However, Dr. Dramani, people are just opposing the litany of concerns that the minority themselves expressed about some of these nominees, particularly the finance minister. They had a litany of concerns, including allegations of breaches of law, and in a proper function democracy, if that is true, that a potential minister of state has breached a country's laws, is enough grounds to disqualify him. But they put that out as a claim, an accusation against the minister. People are reconciling that position with the position that says, well, in spite of that, we will approve you. And they look at both and say, your position cannot be tenable if you had that accusation against him.
Yes, I mean, indeed. If you look at it on the face of it, the position cannot be tenable because, on the one hand, they said, A, B, C, D. On the other hand, but at the end of the day, Evans, I think this whole issue went back to the plenary, and it was discussed at the plenary. So I would want to say that yes, maybe a majority of the NDC members on the committee had issues, but I think if after raising all those issues and the answers that they got, some members decided that that's how they are going to look at issues. Perhaps so be it. Unfortunately, though, not too good for oversight. And let me be quick to say that, certainly there are a number of ministers that did not deserve to be approved. As for that one, I think that is quite clear. But maybe the NDC also spoke too early, because even before vetting some of the ministers, I think there were statements issued, comments made that we are not going to approve A, B, C, D, we are not going to approve these ministers, even before they got the facts before them. So I think for me, that's the way I'm looking at all these issues. Certainly, the front of the NDC is divided. I think that one, there is nobody that can say anything to the contrary. And this is not too good, because when their front is divided, particularly, they are the ones that should be concerned more about oversight and accountability in our republic than the ruling party. Then we are in trouble. I think we are not going to see
how do you reckon? Because really, fundamentally, this is about the business of Parliament. How do you reckon this division, especially at the time when uniquely we find ourselves with a minority that the Ghanaian people have entrusted with the most power since 1992, when this false Republican constitution was promulgated, in terms of the strength they have, and at the time when they have the strength, we have this disunity. Will that affect the work that we've entrusted them to do?
Oh, indeed, Evans, because most of us were excited. I have been working with our parliament since the second parliament. So, and we are now in the 8th parliament. I mean, we've always been looking for a day, like the day that we saw on, the outcome of December 7th. And everyone watching Parliament concerned about our democracy was hoping that the mandate that was given to Parliament by Ghanaians was one to ensure oversight, accountability, and avoid that kind of railroading that we normally see when there are majorities and so on. Unfortunately, I think 3 months down the line, we are not seeing good signs that this is what is going to be the final outcome. I mean, it's quite regrettable. Perhaps, Evans, there are many more things that they are not telling us or that we don't know about. Particularly if I look at Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, the events around him now, and compare them to the events around him 4 years ago, if you remember, when he and Honorable Muntaka were at the center of all this scandal about the approval of Wacha Jako and all the corruption allegations and so on. Is this something that is replaying that Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa thinks maybe he has had enough and that's why he's leaving? And if that's the case, then I think there are very serious cause, for concern, both, for all the NDC members in Parliament, but most importantly for the leadership.
And As far as the NDC is concerned, how do you reckon they go about this? They held a meeting today to try and close the ranks. Is that enough?
Well, honestly, yes, Evans. If they don't close their ranks, I think there are. I mean, they should keep in mind a number of things. Number one, that they are supposed to be a government in waiting, and hoping that in 4 years' time, Ghanaians will give them their mandate. But that is going to be dependent a lot on how they conduct themselves in Parliament with the current mandate that is given to them. So if they break their ranks and allow parochial interests, some personal interests to drive the kind of decisions that they make, they might as well forget the next election. I mean, that's and if their ranks is not closed, Evans, then we might as well forget about oversight. We are going to see worse perhaps even if we compare the situation to the 7th and the 6th Parliament, because in this particular instance, perhaps there might be issues about people compromising their credibility, their moral authority, and so on. And once you compromise that, then you lose everything that you have in terms of demanding accountability or oversight from any other person.
Dr. Drummond, thank you very much for that. I want to share a few of your messages on this big story tonight, the cracks on the front of the minority and all that has been unfolding in the last 24 hours. A few of your messages coming through. Kofi says, Honorable Muntaka should not seek refuge in what happened in the midnight of January 7th to rationalize the current betrayal of trust of the party grassroots. He should resign, he says. Well, he has some direct statements to you, the grassroots of the NDC, on PM Express tonight. So tune in. It's at 9 and listen to him. He speaks directly to the base of the party and makes some commitments and assurances. You want to hear him before you, I guess, make your final conclusions on him. Also, this one from Abdul Razak says, I support the decision of the leadership of the minority group not to resign because it will be a sign of leadership failure, which I think should not succumb to, but I sincerely sympathize with them because it is not easy to be a leader. This God Save says, Walanya rather says, Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa must respectfully resign from Parliament as well. If he wants to redeem his image, there is a break of communication between the rank and file of the NDC and lack of touch with the grassroots, and this is a huge disconnect that has to be addressed. God save NDC, he says. Fawad says, I will urge the rank and file of the NDC to be very circumspect in how they handle this trying moment, especially from this appointment committee. I believe unity and hard work on the ground will bring victory to the party. Honorable Sam Okudzeto Ablakwa is only shedding crocodile tears to appease his constituency and his party foot soldiers. Is he saying his resignation means he is excluding himself from the criticism of being part of the consensus that led to the approval of ministers designate, he says. Lincoln in Akweteman says, resignations will not calm down the nationwide disappointments and anger on the face of NDC supporters. And the final one says, I totally disagree with General Mosquito. It's true the people are suffering, but that should be a motivation to get someone who can put in measures to ameliorate our current conditions and not someone to aggravate or worsen our current situation. A few of your messages there, more shortly still ahead. I'll tell you about the timetable for the power rationing that is about to hit all your homes and businesses shortly. We're getting some details of this from the Mines and Energy Committee. Details of that after the break.
What? I forgot my boss saying clients come, but I don't get credit on my phone. I go for use your phone.
I'm laughing like killer. In this day and age, your excuse for not making that call is that you don't have credit. Oh, then you're not a Vodafone customer. Because you get a boozing 500% bonus anytime you buy credit via Vodafone Cash or Vodafone Credit Transfer. It's like you didn't hear me well. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 500%. a cent. Hey, my friend, you don't have an excuse. Oh, excuse no shit. Dial *110# or visit the nearest credit transfer vendor to buy credit because 500% bonus. Vodafone.
Ready?
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, what is so?
Yeah, Malande. That's what I say. What do you change the year of return and kasa? Hey, contractor. A danya wishing ye. Hey, what would you me feel it too much?
Who project here? Me friend gasem from top to down. Big biara gasem.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gasem ah. And for supi no wodo. On your quality no kwete. Yeah, you see gasem cement and your pudio womo. One package na. On no wahala. Include over 5,000 in your share. No more schools, no more clinics on your donations.
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gasm offers you always.
In these uncertain times, stay safe and follow all the COVID-19 safety protocols.
Gasm, the nation builder.
It's 6 p.m. Watch Inside Out on DSTV every Wednesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. on Aquaba Magic, DSTV channel 150. Aquaba Magic, welcome home.
It's live here on Newsnight. Now, Vice Chairperson of the Mines and Energy Committee, Elvis Donko, has hinted a load shedding timetable will be out next week to enable consumers plan their activities in the face of erratic power supply. Many parts of the country have been subjected to unannounced power cuts for weeks now. Corporate Communications Manager at Gridco, Ebenezer Mankwa, had earlier indicated that a timetable will be out soon for consumers to help them regulate their routines from now to July.
These projects are spread across the country. In Accra, for example, you have the Pokwasi substation construction. You have the Kaswa box supply point construction. You have a stringing of the Achimota Volta transmission line. And so when you look across the value chain, there are key projects ongoing just to boost transmission accessibility, reliability, and also distribution. And these are projects that have required some outages to be conducted. The contractors are asking for some outages at some particular phases. And so these are the areas where we are looking at a discussion with the key stakeholders like ECG and NETCO so we can arrive at some appreciable timetable to communicate where there's a need for outages to happen.
We're getting a bit more detail on this. I want to bring in now the Vice Chairperson of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, who's been speaking to us about the issues. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Newsnight.
Good evening to you, Evans.
Yes. So, I mean, this timetable, we're getting some clarity that it may be available as early as next week.
Yes, that is that will be from ECG and Gridco. They will come out with a timetable. But Evans, there is this thing going on. There's power rationing or doomsaw and all those things. But this is not doomsaw. We have more than necessary power generation. We have more than we need in this country. What is happening now is just the repair and building of the transmission lines. It's a problem that they're actually working on. This has nothing to do with power generation or whatsoever. Gridco and ECG has come out to tell the whole world that this is not doomsaw. This is some sort of work they are doing just for you and I to have stability of power in our homes, in our offices, at our workplace. So the timetable, yes, we need it for consumers to know today, tomorrow, my light will be on or off so that they can plan to do their things. And it's good for us as consumers to know all those things and to have stable power from July onwards. And when actually we had the ministry talking to us on their budget, they told us that there will be construction of some of their lines and repair of some of their lines. Pokuase, as somebody from Good Call ECG said earlier, I was listening. And also Kaswa Ewutu and our Masu to Kintampo line, they are also working on. So all these things coming together, they need to put off the lights.
Yeah, I mean, we get it. We get it. The problem is, this has been happening for many weeks now. The lights going out has been happening. We still don't have the timetable. They've assured us it will happen. I mean, it's just unacceptable, is it not? That the power goes out, although you have a planned upgrade. We still, as we speak tonight, don't have a timetable.
Yes, it's worrying. And I believe by next week, as they say, they promised they are going to actually bring the timetable out. I need it myself. You need it. Everybody needs it.
I mean, I know you do. Except that you, fortunately, are in a position of power to get them before you to demand that immediately on behalf of the people you represent. That hasn't happened.
No, actually, after we just took their budget, and then we did the appropriation just yesterday. So we've not gotten the time to call them back before us to talk about it. But personally, I spoke to the CEO of Gredco, and he told me by next week, Monday, the timetable will be out for the whole world to know how and where power will be taken out and on daily basis.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis Donko. He's the Vice Chair of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament. Well, we understand that the Energy Ministry met with the independent power producers yesterday. My colleague, MFR Powell, joins me in the studio with details of that. What was the outcome of this meeting?
The Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Independent Power Producers and Bulk Consumers, Elik Blim, Komla Apetobo, tells us that these are some of the deficiencies in the system that key stakeholders must collaboratively work to address. And they expect our generation, transmission and distribution systems to be at a level that even if maintenance has to be done, no one will have an idea or feel anything happening. To have the grid or distribution systems off for more than a minute is inefficient and must be worked on. Now, there's also the need for a buffering system to take care of maintenance activities at any given time without necessarily putting off the grid. And this is the best practice in transmission and distribution utilities management. So that's the outcome of that meeting.
Thank you very much, MFA. After business, we'll bring you the latest from the NDC. There's a statement that has been issued tonight. We'll tell you what the party has been saying. Hello, George.
And Evans, I don't know whether you have your Ghana card, because from tomorrow, actually, the numbers will be used for tax identification purposes, set to replace the tax TIN numbers, actually, when it comes to identifying you for paying your taxes and other things as well. And therefore, the Ghana Revenue Authority says they are ready to roll out that service. A manufacturing giant Unilever records another loss in operations for 2020, but actually represents a marginal improvement over previous years. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, and Allianz Insurance.
You've worked hard for your money, and that is why we are constantly creating more secure and innovative ways for you to keep your money safe everywhere you go. Experience a safer and more secure way to do all your transactions with MTN Momo. Present your national ID, voter's ID, NHIS card, passport, driver's license, or your SNIT ID card whenever you visit any Momo agent's point. Keep your transactions safe and secure everywhere you go, because we are good together. Remember to present any of these valid national ID cards for all your Momo transactions at agents' points beginning from Friday, 2nd April 2021, everywhere you go.
Hope you have heard rent to own now in Ghana. The Plan City Extension Project Rent to Own Land and House Ownership Scheme by the Ningo Prampram District Assembly and its partners, supported by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and the UN Habitat, are right here in Ghana. So be smart though, because where you trade and live really matters. Apply now and own a home or a fully serviced land. Wait a minute too. Don't forget to join our affiliate housing cooperatives also. Special offers last until 31st March 2021. Call us on 055 55 3300 or 0577 911101 and 055 70 54 635. Website newaccra.city. Planned City Extension Projects, shaping Ghana's urban future.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
Hey, big man, have you been to West Hills Mall lately?
Wow! Well, I'm the presenter and I usually ask the questions.
West Hills Mall, they have the best stores all in one place.
Do you know more than I do? They have service providers like Vodafone, Rent Air, First National Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and they are ready to serve you better.
They have a well-secured car park.
Oh, West Hills Mall, the best shopping mall.
Locate West Hills Mall at the Wager Kaswa Road. West Hills Mall, a happy place.
Every day, every night.
The numbers have finally turned into names. Names of people we know. Names of people we love. Coronavirus is ravaging our country and taking the lives of our loved ones. But if we do the right thing, we can help stop the spread. Wash and sanitize your hands regularly, and most importantly, wear a nose mask every time you step out of your house. Masks save lives. However, if you start experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, get tested. And if you're positive, don't self-medicate. Visit the nearest health center immediately. If you love your life, protect it. Wear your mask. Wear it for your wife, for your husband, your kids. Wear it for mama. Wear it for daddy. Wear it for you. Do the right thing. Wear a mask. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Information, the Ghana Health Service, and our donor partners.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Ghana card number is now set to replace the tax identification number. That is from tomorrow. The move is in line with government policy to use the Ghana card for all transactions where an individual identification is required. The Ghana Revenue Authority has maintained that this will, however, there will be a transitional period where both the Ghana card and the tax identification number will be used together until December 2021. Meanwhile, the Ghana Revenue Authority has announced its readiness for the takeoff of the exercise from tomorrow. Speaking to Joy Business after inspecting some of the offices required for the exercise, Commissioner General Reverend Amishadai also expressed optimism that this would actually improve revenue collection.
There has been the need for us to see as a tax authority or as a nation how we can increase the number of tax payers and also to ensure that our revenue base as a nation also increases towards our goal of increasing the revenue to GDP ratio. The starting point for even paying tax is to first to register. And to get more people to register and to get more people on the database, this is an opportunity for us to be able to get those people who have registered for the Ghana card to automatically become registered taxpayers. Number two, it's also for us as a country avoid the situation where you go here and they'll say, what is your tax identification number? And go to another place, say, what is your Ghana card now? It goes and so there's a issue of having a united one card for Ghana.
And that's the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Amishadai Owusu Amoa. Well, also
from the 2nd of April, you required a national ID to carry out any transaction on your mobile money that is MTN. So it looks like the national ID will be very critical going forward. That is from next one. And remember that also, I mean, April 1, it's April Fool's Day, but these are actually serious national exercise taking place. Now, senior economist with Databank Courage Mattis says he largely agrees with Governor of the Bank of Ghana about the economy being on a rebound. He maintains that this would actually help things pick up strongly. Looking at the various development in the sectors of the economy shows that things are actually going up, and also deployment of the vaccines is also helping the situation. Let's hear more from Courage Mate on his argument about things picking up strongly.
The forecast for GDP, whether it included the 2020 figures, yes, to some extent, because we don't have the full year 2020 GDP figures. We expect that to come somewhere in April. But we have the first 3 quarters of last year, and that was factored into the projections. And we did not factor in the resurgence, but we believe that the range of 3.9% to 4.9% would capture the effect of the resurgence, moving the growth potentially away from the midpoint of 4.4% forecast for this year towards the lower band of 3.9% forecast for this year. On the balance of probability for inflation, I think very strongly that inflation is likely to end the year within the central bank target range of 6 to 10%, most likely in single digits. Now, there are upside risks to the outlook. I mentioned earlier the recovery in oil price, the implication for export prices, transport fare, non-food inflation, and headline inflation. In that regard, the rollback of utility relief.
And that is Courage Mate, an economist, talking about the fact that the economy is indeed on a rebound based on some development in sectors or the other sectors of the economy. Now, the Eurobond raised by government can be described as expensive, looking at the expected interest rate payment that will be paid on the bonds. Now, that's according to investment analyst and country manager at Synergy Ghana, Mike Kobler. The finance ministry took a little over $3 billion and returned the rest to investors because of a high rate that they offered. Mike Kobler tells Joy Business the oversubscription claim was also to make sure that it's not well placed.
Raising money in a post-pandemic period is quite difficult. So for them to have achieved the 3 billion mark is commendable. But don't forget that our target was to raise a $5 billion. That means oversubscribed. The reason why probably we did not take the entire $5 billion was because of pricing. Obviously, you do a book build and you have various pricing levels coming through during the pricing of the offer. So you draw the line at a point where you think that you have gotten an interest rate which is sustainable in the past. If you compare the rates that we got this year, you realize that it's slightly above what we got last year by almost 100 basis points, each of the segments that we are looking at, apart from the zero coupon bond, which is a novelty. So having said that, our target was to raise 5 billion. If we were subscribed and the pricing was great, we would have picked all the 5 billion. But once we were able to cap at 3.025, it just means that the pricing that came subsequently beyond the 3 billion was ridiculous or couldn't be justified. And that's why we had to stop at 3 billion.
Mike Kobler is an investment analyst and country manager for Synergy Ghana. Meanwhile, government has revealed that it is expected to make some huge savings on the novel 4-year zero-rated bonds. According to government, some 400 million Ghana cedis of the bond proceeds will be used to refinance domestic bonds with an average rate of 19%, which should bring in some 200 million Ghana cedis for the next 4 years. Now, manufacturing giant Unilever ended last year recording another loss. It posted a loss after tax of 50 million Ghana cedis. However, if you compare this to previous years, the rate of loss has actually decreased, signaling that some measures that the company introduced over the years, it's yielding some results. Unilever in its financials also noted that they have taken some measures that will help improve the situation going forward. Still on company numbers, Standard Chartered Bank has also seen a significant increase in its profits for for last year, its earnings after tax hit 487 million Ghana cedis, representing more than 70% jump over that of 2019. The bank also saw a significant growth in most of its areas of operations, and the Chartered Bank joins the growing list of banks that are posting strong profits despite COVID-19, which actually impacted the operations of some banks for last year. And that is all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans, for you to take over. Do you have your Ghana card?
No, I don't.
You need one.
George, I don't have my Ghana card. I'll be getting one shortly.
You need one, even as bad.
Yeah. Okay, George, thank you very much. You're still listening to Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, government has set an ambitious target to eliminate HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis by the end of 2030. Also, the country is targeting to record 0 cases of malaria within the same period. President Akufo-Addo gave the commitment at the launch of the Global Health Fund to tackle the 3 diseases. The fund has since 2002 supported Ghana's fight against HIV and AIDS with over $800 million, but limited its funding when the country attained middle-income status. But country director of the World Health Organization, Dr. Francis Kasolo, said Ghana's elaborate plan to combat the 3 diseases convinced the fund to support.
Despite these key improvements, additional investment in the fight against these diseases is needed if Ghana is to continue this positive trajectory and indeed accelerate progress towards eliminating these 3 diseases. It is therefore gratifying that the government of Ghana, working with the various partners and stakeholders, including civil society, has managed to successfully mobilize a $238 million grant from the Global Fund to finance the fight against these 3 diseases, as well as help in the building of a resilient and sustainable health system. The management of this NFM3 grant will require greater oversight and accountability. That is why the country coordination mechanism, composed of representatives from your government, various health partners, stakeholders, including civil society, is undergoing an evolution process. This process includes improved government ownership and involvement in the oversight work of the country coordination mechanism, as well as improved feedback mechanism between civil society representatives on the CCM and their constituencies.
Well, under the agreement, Ghana will provide a $45 million counterpart funding. President Akufo-Addo gave a firm commitment the country will achieve the target of elimination of the 3 diseases by 2030.
The morbidity and mortality associated with these 3 diseases continue to pose threats to our development. In spite of the remarkable reduction in deaths and illness associated with HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis, investments in research, procurement, and implementation of life-saving tools ought to continue until these diseases are completely eliminated from our nation. Today, as we commence the new funding model 3, we accelerate progress towards the realization of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, achieve lower morbidity and mortality in malaria, HIV, and TB, as well as strengthen our entire healthcare system. We will be able to continue with the program to eliminate HIV, malaria, and TB, and also build health structures that are beneficial to dealing with other chronic and infectious diseases. This grant will help Ghana accelerate progress towards the UNAIDS 1990 HIV treatment targets. That is 90% of HIV positive people who know their status. 90% of HIV positive people who know their status on treatment. 90% of people on antiretroviral therapy with suppressed viral load. This new fund will also help expand detection of TB cases and TB treatment. The malaria grant will, on the other hand, increase the coverage of distribution of insecticide-treated nets.
Well, currently we are vaccinating people against COVID-19. We got this update from Kweku Agyeman-Manu, the health minister.
The Global Fund is a major partner in our healthcare delivery system, and Global Fund support to Ghana. Government of Ghana's COVID-19 efforts cannot be overemphasized. And I want to once again remind all of us that we are still battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. We are currently seeing active cases hovering around 2,000, and this represents a massive improvement in our fight. This is all due to the excellent leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. We are currently making all efforts to vaccinate Ghanaians so as to ensure that we leave no one behind in our vaccination campaign. The launch of this new Global Fund grant is in line with the new national policy direction on health as enshrined in the revised National Health Policy 2020, as well as the Universal Health Coverage Roadmap 2020-2030, which seeks to work collaboratively with all stakeholders and partners to ensure that all people in Ghana have timely access to high-quality health services, irrespective of ability to pay at the point of use.
That is the health minister. Let's do sports now. Riku is here with the latest. Hello, Riku.
For Ghana, as Vida Entry and Emmanuel Nitete have made the powerlifting qualifying mark for the 2021 Tokyo Paralympic Games. The Ghana team is currently competing in Manchester for the Powerlifting World Cup and would also be in 3 other competitions in Georgia, Thailand, and Dubai before the Summer Games. General Secretary of the National Paralympic Committee, Peter J., says the team are training and preparing in order to secure more qualification slots for Ghana.
We are going to wait patiently till June, where the IPC and the organizing committee of the Tokyo Games will write officially to the NPC to confirm slots for athletes. We also have 3 other competitions in Georgia, Thailand, and Dubai in May and June of this year, respectively. Currently, what we are planning is that we are going to give the athletes another 1 to 2 months of training and prepare to send the teams to Dubai also to want to seek more qualification slots and also to want to have the ones who have already made past their qualification marks to better it, all in the bid to make sure that we solidify our presence at the Games.
General Secretary of the National Paralympic Committee, Peter J., and the hope certainly is that Ghana would have more representation in the 2021 Tokyo Paralympic Games. That's your sport for now, Evans.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
Ayeko.
That's what we say to hard work.
Choboy.
A rallying call to a determined action.
Ayefro. Our deep sense of unity and family values.
Edinkra.
The emblem of our creative powers, ingenuity, and culture. Ghana Month on Joy News.
It's live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. In the last few minutes, the National Democratic Congress has issued a statement on this unfolding crisis within its ranks in Parliament. And my colleague MFA Powell joins me with details of that statement. MFA, what is the party being saying?
This statement is signed by the national chairman himself, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, and it says that the leadership of the National Democratic Congress has held a meeting with the Council of Elders of the party and the entire parliamentary caucus in the aftermath of the disquiet and misgivings that characterized the approval of the ministerial nominees of President Akufo-Addo. The meeting was conducted in a healthy atmosphere in which the concerns of the teaming members and supporters were adequately ventilated and addressed. Accordingly, the leadership of the party wishes to assure all and sundry that the matters that have provoked public commentary have been dealt with in a manner that will promote and strengthen the cohesion of the party and all its organs. It finally says we call on all to assure them on the need to put party unity over and above all interests so that together we can hold the Akufo-Addo government to account even as we take measures to develop strategies towards the next general elections. That's the statement signed by the national chairman, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo.
Well, find details on myjoyonline.com. Well, the Asantes were once an oppressed group of people. Formed to gain independence, the group went ahead to win many wars and conquer territories. To give a message to all enemies, the porcupine was chosen as its totem. In the last of our Ghana Month series, Love FM's Dana Yaljima explores the formation and prowess of the Asante military.
Asante Kotoko Asante Kotoko Tumaini is a football club, but traditionally the name is deeper than the game of soccer. Kotoko, the porcupine, represents the Asante army. The totem was bestowed on the football club, which has Asante as the life patron. Cultural historian, teacher Safo Kantanka, tells the story.
Koto, that is how the name was given to this rodent animal. It hides underground before it begins to shoot its squirrels. So that is how Koto. They also had it in mind that we will not go and attack, but we will defend ourselves when we are attacked. So upon studying the animals, they noticed that it is only the porcupine that defends itself when attacked.
The tribe once existed in units oppressed by Denchwa people. In their quest for independence, the units came together to fight the tormentor. Through wars, the Asante kingdom grew and expanded its territories. Hence the Asante proverb, the porcupine fights from all angles.
And then came a time when all the Akan societies became part of the Asante kingdom. It even went beyond the Akan kingdom to share border with Burkina Faso, a greater portion of Ivory Coast. It shared border with Togo and Benin.
In reference to the porcupine's quills, the Asantes adopted the motto, Kumapima Apembeba, to wait, kill 1,000 and 1,000 will rise. History has it that the Asante had a formidable army with the best of combat strategies.
The gun could shoot only once. And so what they did was to line up in 3 lines. The first line was made up of 7 men. When they camouflage, identify the target, and they fired, they will lie down and crawl back to load their guns. Then the second line, made up of 7 men, will jump to the front line. So by the time the first volley is over, then the second would come, then the third would come. So people wondered why, after killing many people, or even a whole battalion, you still have another battalion coming to face you.
Today, the porcupine symbolizes the strength of the Asante kingdom. For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
A fantastic history lesson there. You want to visit the Mensah Palace Museum to learn more on this, please feel free to do so. My name is Evans Mensah, and enjoy the rest of your evening, including enjoying myjoyonline.com, where several of the top stories today have been read, including it was NDC's decision to approve Lame Dak Oforiatta as finance minister. That's Assyrian Ketia. Samakuduta Blakwa resigns from parliament. It's also been read by a lot of you. Harun Idrisu saying we acted in accordance to law. A thief trapped inside church after robbery attempt goes wrong. Read all that and more on myjoyonline.com. Strong and Sassy is up next. Stay tuned.